Welcome to Emerge Wednesdays. I'm Dorothea Schuler, and I'm so glad you decided to join us. On this week's show, we will be talking about AIDS Awareness Month, and we'll be speaking with special guest Zakia McKensey of Nations Foundation and Jason Smith of Jason Smith Entertainment, LLC. We will be talking all about their emergence as entrepreneurs. And a little later in the show, of course, we'll be making a divine decision and getting Deshana's 2 cents on finance. But first up, like we always do around this time, we're going to hear some amazing tips from Tiffany to help you emerge as a CEO. So come on, let's go and tiptoe over with Tiffany into the CEO's Corner.
Emerge yourself.
Welcome to the CEO Corner. I wanted to talk to you guys about something that is very important, that touches so many lives, and it is December. So December is HIV/AIDS Awareness Month. December 1st is actually World AIDS Day, and I just want to let everybody know there are a lot of resources for people that are living with HIV and AIDS. There are a lot of nonprofits that provide those resources. And while I was doing my research on the structure of these nonprofits and how many resources out there, did you know that most AIDS organizations accept grants from pharmaceutical companies? And I'm not talking about small ones. In some cases, there are some very large grants that are given. So really, their business structure is AIDS nonprofits depend on funding from drug companies, and then drug companies depend on the organizations to educate patients. So to me, seems like an interesting mutual beneficial business relationship, but it's a little interesting for the patient, but that's a whole different CEO corner and will require a lot more digging. So as CEOs and leaders in our companies, we can provide awareness about HIV and AIDS. We can talk to local community, and regional radio, as well as newspapers about doing stories that will educate people about prevention, non-discrimination, which is important, and care. So let's bring awareness by using hashtags on social media such as hashtag World AIDS Day, hashtag WAD 2022, hashtag Stop HIV Together. So help bring awareness and less discrimination for the people that do have HIV and AIDS. I'm Tiffany Boyle, and that's my tip from the CEO Corner.
Emerge yourself.
All right. Hello. If you are just tuning in, you are listening to the Emerge Radio Show. I am your host, Deshana Kemp Garnett, along with co-host Tiffany Boyle. And today we are in for a treat. We have Zakia McKensey here with us. So welcome to the show, Zakia.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. How are you?
Awesome. We are so excited to talk to you today. So I'm not going to steal any of your shine. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name, like you said, my name is Zakia McKensey. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a native of Richmond, Virginia. I've been in HIV prevention and advocacy work in the city probably since 1997. I'm the founder and executive director of the first Black trans-led nonprofit organization in the state of Virginia, which is called Nations Foundation. I'm here to just engage in a deep conversation with you today, and I'm so excited to be here.
Now, you said a mouthful, and I'm over here trying to take my notes because as you were talking, you know how you get like a million questions and like, okay, so let me take it back. You said you have the first or the only Black-led.
The first. It's not the only one anymore. We've been the inspiration for a lot of trans women to start nonprofit organizations to service people in their community, their areas. But in Virginia, we were the very first.
So what is the name of your nonprofit?
Nations Foundation, and Nations with a Z, no S on the end, a Z.
Awesome. So talk to us about your foundation. What's your focus and what you all do?
So our mission is to provide education and information related to HIV prevention and overall health and wellness, while inspiring the community to take responsibility for their health and also working towards a more inclusive Virginia for LGBTQIA+ folks. So we offer free HIV and STI testing. We have a food pantry. We have different support groups that are for trans folks and also folks who are living with HIV. We have a PrEP clinic For those who are familiar with PrEP or unfamiliar with PrEP, PrEP is a drug that can make individuals who are HIV negative, keep them safe from contracting HIV. So we have a PrEP clinic, we have a rapid start clinic, we have 2 mobile testing units, we rock and roll and we get out in the community and get people tested so that they know their status. And if they are positive, connect them to resources and community.
Awesome. So let me go back and say that December is HIV and AIDS Awareness Month. And so that is one of the main reasons why we have you on. So talk to us about what it was to be the first. I love talking to people who were the first, because who do you really have to look up to? Like, you are the protege, you are the model. So how did that process look like for you?
So let me give you a little bit of backstories. When I first started working in prevention and advocacy, I started volunteering first for this organization called Fan Free Clinic, which is now known as Health Brigade. And I helped them implement some programs within the clubs, because HIV is greatly and still greatly impacting people of color, women, and specifically LGBTQ people and trans folks. And so back in those days, there were no type of advocacy, testing, outreach, condom distribution, none of those things happened in the club. And it was that population who was partying in the clubs that were being affected. I lost a friend to HIV, a very dear friend, and me being young and not knowing anything, I decided to volunteer to educate myself. And the volunteerism turned into a job, which I stayed there with them as the transgender clinic coordinator for about 10 years. And then I went to the health department, first Black trans woman to ever work for Richmond City Health District. And then there for 6 years, and just seeing the difference between being in the nonprofit sector and working in the state and how the two entities worked differently. I was losing my passion for the work. And so I enjoyed the nonprofit sector and the creativity of meeting people where they were and having longer hours or more varied hours to be able to engage the communities that needed this help. And so Caitlyn Jenner came out. The world was so surprised about her in 2015 and was so embracing, transgender and what that was. And it was kind of like the catalyst, and also that I was unhappy at my job. So I took a leap of faith and I stepped out and I started the organization. So I say all of that to say, being the first, one was difficult, being a Black trans woman in Richmond, Virginia, the capital of the former Confederacy, and in the nonprofit industrial complex. Being the first, a lot of people didn't take the organization seriously, or it was hard for us to get seats at tables. It was hard to find funding. I will say the good thing is that I had allies in Health Brigade and the health department, because they knew my work ethic and what I brought to the table. So they were big supporters of me and my work. But being the first has been really interesting. I'm proud of the work that we have done in the last 7 years, and I'm really looking forward to what the future holds for the organization and what we're going to be able to do for the community moving forward.
I just want to applaud your efforts. I know being the first and sometimes the only isn't an easy thing, right? But when you were talking, the one thing that stood out in my mind is a quote by Shirley Chisholm. And it says, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And you brought your folding chair, and then you created the whole table. So kudos to you. So, oh my gosh, I'm just so excited about talking to you and picking your brain. So if y'all are just tuning in, you are listening to the Emerge Radio Show. I am your host, Deshayna Kemp Garnett, along with co-host Tiffany Boyle. And we are talking with Zakia McKensey, who is with Nation Foundation. And she has been talking about her work and the important work that she does.
Where did you get the inspiration for the name of your nonprofit?
That's a good question. So for many years, I competed in beauty pageants for trans women and female impersonators. And I won a club title on Broad Street, and the club was called Nations of Richmond. And shortly after winning, they kind of went out of business, and they asked me, did I want the prize money or kind of like the right to the name? And my cousin and I, for a long time, had wanted to start a national pageant called, and so we were trying to think of a name. So I love Nation. So we took the S off. I put the Z on the end, so, like for my legacy, the Z for Zakia. And we started a national pageant in Richmond in 2012, September 30th, 2012. And the mission of the pageant was aligned with the organization. And the pageant is really a yearly fundraiser for the organization, and all the proceeds from the pageant we put into the org. So that's where the name came from. A club title I had won, and I just rebranded, took the S off and put a Z.
Oh, very nice. I like it.
Thank you.
So we all know starting a nonprofit is hard work, and we really haven't had a lot of nonprofits on the show. I want to say our very first episode featured 2 nonprofits, and I want to say that was it. So can you talk to us about, one, the leap of faith process, and then two, what were, some of the hurdles and key takeaways from starting a nonprofit?
The first key takeaway is, are you ready for the responsibility of running a nonprofit? I think that in any business, you're really running it the same. But I think that when you're a nonprofit entity, there's another step of stewardship and fiduciary responsibilities, you know what I'm saying, that comes with that. I was a little intimidated at first, and believe it or not, I literally went to Barnes and Nobles and got Nonprofit for Dummies, like just the book, so that I could figure out where to begin and what to do. And believe it or not, the book was really instrumental in helping me to set up the organization in a way that it would be structured for success and also sustainability. I think that one of the misconceptions that I was told is that the approval process would take longer than it really did. Folks was telling me it was going to take like 18 months to 2 years, and it really actually took about 2 weeks. I was really surprised because we had submitted, I did it myself, I did the application myself. It was a short version. I did the application, submitted it on July the 31st, and August the 10th, I had got a letter back, which was divine intervention because my grandmother loves me dearly, and her birthday is August the 6th. And she is why I'm so community focused and love people. But when I opened that letter, it was dated August 6th, and we were approved on August the 6th. That was one of the misconceptions. But just really like being a Black-led organization, and then specifically trans-led, and not really having like documentation and, all these things that you need as a nonprofit, like 990s and all of that for like funding. The hurdles at the beginning was specifically funding and staying open. So luckily the pageant was always successful. The community rallied and supported the mission of the organization and the work that I was doing. And then we also seeked out grants that specifically supported trans initiatives, LGBTQ initiatives, HIV initiatives, and food pantry initiatives. We were able to stay until we were able to acquire larger grants. Now, I started the organization before leaving the health department, and that leap of faith came from the fact that I wanted state funding from the health department. And so they were like, that would be a conflict of interest, you being a PE and then being a nonprofit trying to do grants. So it was like, you got to make the decision whether you want to stay with us as an employee or whether you want to pursue your dreams. So December 5th, I pursued my dreams, and here we are 7 years later.
Yes, and we thank you for that. And I'm sure that your community that you impact thanks you so much for that. So with this being HIV and AIDS Awareness Month, what are some of the misconceptions that people have in regards to the disease? And
So one misconception I encountered, because December 1st was World AIDS Day. So we had the units deployed out in the city, and I hadn't been on one in a while. So I decided to take half the team and go out and do testing and stuff. So instead of being behind the desk all the time or, talking to people. And so this one gentleman that I tested and was talking to him, he really was concerned about contracting HIV. And when I questioned him about why, like trying to engage his risk factors, he mentioned a lot of like smoking cigarettes behind people, drinking and eating behind folks. And that's still a very common misconception, that people believe that folks who are living with HIV, if you drink behind them, smoke behind them, kiss them or whatever, that you can contract HIV. And that's really not the case. There's not enough HIV produced in saliva to be transmitted. It will have to be trucks and trucks loads of saliva for someone to, be infected. I also think that another misconception is that, people put so much stigma on folks living with HIV. And, I tell people all the time, people who are living with HIV are probably more health aware and health conscious than those who are not living with HIV. And folks also probably haven't really heard a lot about U equals U, which means undetectable equals untransmittable. So folks who are living with HIV, who are in care, their viral loads become undetectable, which means that there is not enough of the virus being replicated in their system to transmit and infect individuals. Hence why the HIV laws, decriminalization laws changed recently in Virginia, leading the way in that work.
So I can just speak for me and my education or knowledge, I should say, on it. And the undetectable, I have just recently learned about, or I guess it's being talked about more within the last few years. And I was not aware of that. So I'm happy to hear that. But yeah, just that how you get the word out and being knowledgeable about certain things, whether it affects you or doesn't affect you or could potentially affect you is very important. So I'm definitely happy you're doing what you're doing.
Thank you much. I think folks, and especially Black and brown folks, really need to, pay attention and educate themselves. And like when I spoke earlier about my friend and why I got into volunteering to do this work, when my friend passed away from HIV, I was like in my early 20s. And in the late 90s, early 90s, it wasn't really affecting Black people like that. It was more so, gay white men. And so it wasn't really talked about in our community, what it looked like, what it would do to your body. And so to really see my friend go from, being this 37-year-old, vibrant, entertainer person to like 6 or 7 months later, because then the medicine wasn't the way that it is now. And then just seeing him, get old, like just really old, and how his body went through so many changes and then finally succumbing to the virus. So it was just like really important for me to like get education and give back. And I think that all people are to get more education. And if you have the opportunity to talk to someone who is living with HIV, or go on YouTube, and there's so much positive information about there, and stigma to erase stigma, information to erase stigma, so people will have more to do that.
Awesome. So let's talk about what 2023 is going to look like for you. I know you mentioned, we do need to do more research. We need to have a better understanding. Are there any initiatives or anything you're planning in 2023 that we need to be on the lookout for?
So 2023, we're really just continuing to build upon the services that we are already providing, but we are also, expanding into a more medical field. We've just been recently certified as a 340B entity, and now have pharmacies that are in place so that when folks are coming to us for testing, if they need treatment and care, they can pretty much stay with us. So in 23, we're moving more towards a full medical clinic where we provide full service.
Awesome. That is amazing. So everything just kind of comes full circle. Y'all be a one-stop shop.
One-stop shop. Yeah. And when I created the organization, my focus was really to concentrate on LGBTQ folks, but people love nations, all walks of life, all types of demographics. And we see so many people, like we see people from 16 years old to 74 years old through all of our programs and services. And all of the folks are not LGBTQ, but, people are in need. And I'm glad that we're able to be there to fill that gap and provide service to those individuals.
Yeah. All right. So if people are interested in learning more about your organization and following what you're going to be, doing, how about you let us know, your social media, if you have it, your website, and all your contact information.
Yeah. And look, in case they want to donate too, right? No. So we're on Instagram, like I said, Nations Foundation, and that's Nations with a Z. Same thing on Facebook. Our website is nationsfoundationrva.org. So NATIONZ Foundation, FOUNDATION RVA.org.
And I just, I did my signature move. As soon as you started typing, I got my phone up. I went on Instagram. I found it. It is very easy, just like it sounds, Nations with a Z Foundation. So very easy to find. And I'm definitely interested in following what y'all are going to be doing for 2023 and promoting what you're going to have out there. I think what you do is absolutely amazing and much needed for sure.
Thank you, man.
All right, so it's about that time. Tiffany, if you don't have anything, it's like the saddest part of the show, but it's my favorite thing to do, if that makes sense.
It's all you. All me.
So this is where I get to ask our signature question, my very favorite question, and that is, what does the word emerge mean to you?
Emerge means to come into, to appear, but it's also not a subtle appearance. Like to me, emerging is like a new beginning and fresh and grand, but like a presentation of this new and powerful you.
I I love that. Tiffany, nothing about Emerge is subtle. Zakia said it. I'm rolling with it all of 2023. So when we step out, nothing about what Emerge does is going to be subtle. Nothing about what Nations Foundation does is going to be subtle. We are on the scene. And I'm so appreciative for you coming on and just sharing what you do. I mean, I could just tell from talking to you, you have a heart of gold and you really have a heart to help people. And it has been such a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you much. I enjoyed you as well. And good luck with all of your endeavors. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to just share about what we do and, enlighten the people.
Yes, thank you.
Emerge yourself.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? Travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
If you love them enough to listen to them practice the same song on tuba,
please be done.
Over and over and over and over and over, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Sounds good, honey.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Emerge yourself.
Welcome back. I'm Dorothea Schuler, and you're listening to Emerge Wednesdays, the radio show that's all about entrepreneurs and business and is the premier information source for business owners. If you're just now joining us, Deshana and Tiffany just spoke with Zakia McKensey, the founder of Nations Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide education and information related to HIV prevention and overall health and wellness. So, if you'd like to catch up as well as listen to any of our previous shows, you can do so by visiting emergethemagazine.com. Okay, so let's get to it. Every living person inevitably operates and proceeds throughout the course of their life based upon a series of decisions. The dictionary defines a decision as a conclusion or resolution reached after consideration. And divine means excellence. So we're making an excellent choice. Keeping those principles in mind, let's make the divine decision today to walk in love. So what does it mean to walk in love? Love is very easily interpreted as a physical interaction or gestures of affection, for example, a hug or a kiss. At some point in our lives, we have received or given some form of physical affection that could be described as love. But what does it truly mean to display love to another person? Are we loving them in our thoughts about them and towards them, or our actions towards them? Are we choosing to love people by considering another person's feelings in the same way that we would like for them to consider ours, especially if and when we know that it's more appropriate to do so and important for the other person? My favorite book states that no greater love has one than this, that one lay his life down for his friends. When we lay our lives down and stop what we're doing to meet another person's needs, that's love. For example, shout out to Emerge radio producer DJ Mr. Sham, because this week, the brother showed me so much love by setting aside extra time out of his schedule to help me with the issues I was having transitioning into some of the new goals and things that we're doing for our radio show. So you could say it was his job, but I know better. It was much more than that. It was him doing something he did not have to do. And like I said, it was him showing love. So it's not just our words or physical gestures, but the conscious effort to do so in our actions. If we don't already, we need to begin considering other people's circumstances, their difficulties, shortcomings, and their humanness. When we begin to have this level of consideration, then we can have understanding. And with that understanding comes the ability and room to properly love others. But now faith, hope, love abide in these three, but the greatest of these is love. So join me today and make the divine decision to emerge into your best life by walking in love. Knowing this decision will ultimately help to shape and create a path that reflects a light of excellence in our lives, one that shines love onto those around us. And this, my friends, has been another divine decision with Dorothea. And you too can decide to be a part of Emerge Wednesdays by submitting your response to our signature question, what does the word emerge mean to you? Share that with us on our IG at Emerge the Magazine. This week's response is from Tiara Jones, Executive Director at the House of Mania Maya, a nonprofit organization. Emerge means to come together in unity. Everyone having a specific role to play, and when we all come together, the pieces fit like a puzzle. Wow. Thanks, Tiara. I love to see an emerging puzzle and nothing better but the result of a finished one. And you, too, can follow Tiara on IG at Sittin' Pretty in Pink. That's SITTNPRETTYNPINK. You're enjoying Emerge Wednesdays. And up next, Tiffany and Deshana will be speaking with Jason Smith, the CEO and founder of Jason Smith Entertainment, LLC.
Emerge yourself.
You are tuned into the Emerge Radio Show
on WHOV.
All right, we are here with Jason Smith of J Smith Entertainment. We are so excited to have you on the show today. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Jason Smith. I own J Smith Entertainment. We do talent shows, fashion shows, community service events, a little bit of everything, event planning, marketing, promotion, you name it, I got it. My slogan is, I'm not only the plug, but I'm the socket too, because I basically know everybody.
Oh, I love it.
Wait a minute. I got to write it down. Say it again.
I'm not just the plug. I'm the socket too.
Come on, Jason. I love that.
I stole it from my boss. He called me that one day when I had introduced him to you guys at Emerge. When they got to come to the gala, he was like, Jason, not just the plug, he the socket. So I said I was going to start stealing it.
So what made you start like an entertainment company?
Okay, so I got into it by accident. I wanted some Jordans when I was going to high school. I was like 14 or 15. I was in the 9th grade. I wanted Jordans. Come from a single home. My mother was like, I am not spending $200 on your shoes and your feet are still growing.
I agree.
Like, it's like, I'm not doing it. And I'm just like, well, no, she bought me all this other stuff. We take trips. Like, why is she not going to spend the money? So what she did say was, whatever you earn, I'll match it. So I ended up doing a talent show with my friends at Doris Miller Community Center, and I made $500, and I only spent like $100 to have the show. So when I did that, I was just like, wait a minute, I only spent $100 and I made $5, and this is fun. I was like, oh, I got to continue to do this. So that's how I got caught into doing like different events and things like that because of the talent show that I used to raise money for school, and my mama matched it. So for 9th grade, I had $1,000 shopping budget.
That is nice.
I'm not trying to be rude, but if I was your mom, I'd have been like, I should have just gave him that $200.
I think that's what she was thinking.
that. She then raised a young entrepreneur.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure you have given her that back multiple times, right? Okay.
And she's definitely spoiled. Like, if y'all ever come to the event, she's always there. I did have her work in this one, but normally I didn't. It was only because my business partner asked for her to work. But normally she's just at the event, being a mom on the front row and all that stuff.
Cheering you on.
Yes.
So how was it? Like, what were the processes of getting your business started, getting other people, like, not only to do your own events, but also to help other people do their events?
Well, I kept doing talent shows, and then I started doing fashion shows, and it was becoming more and more. And then, like, I'm turning 18 and I'm still doing it. Then I'm 19, I'm 20. I never really, I think 21 is when I actually really realized, I need to take this more serious. So one of my friends, he's actually my godfather, Scott, he was like, you need to get a business license. I didn't know nothing about it. I was just like, a business license? He was like, yeah, because you keep doing these events and you wanted this to be a real business because you're serious about it. You need to try to get a business license. So we ended up doing some research and telling me what I needed to do. I paid a little $30, and then I think I paid like $99 to get my LLC. And so we ended up changing it over. So at 22 or 23 years old, no, I was 21, excuse me, I had the LLC and the license. So once I started doing stuff for me, other people started seeing, and they would ask me, well, can you help out or can you plan my stuff? And that's just how it just went from there.
So as Commissioner of Revenue, I want to thank your godfather?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to thank him for telling you to get your business license. But then I also don't appreciate you saying little $30. Look.
I mean, okay. So I didn't say it like that, but I mean, because $30 can be a lot. But I mean, I didn't feel like $30 to pay for an investment for your business. Like, that is a great deal.
And you have to put it into perspective. If you was already making $500 in the ninth grade, $30 little dollars, really didn't break the bank.
Yeah.
Say it again. You can be the spokesperson for the Commissioner of Revenue's office.
I got you. Yeah, $30 won't break the bank, especially if you're making a profit. Like, why not just pay the $30 like crazy?
So then what made you go from your events to helping other people with their events?
I was trying to figure out what my calling was, because being that my stuff didn't take off the way I thought that it should take off at the time, because I'm like, I'm young, I'm doing this, I'm meeting this person, I'm bringing this artist down here, but it ain't like I'm not making $1 million like I think I should be. And I end up, somebody asked me, well, we be saying you do events, can you help me plan something? I think it was like something at Down and Growth. I had never done it before, and I was just like, okay, sure. And I started helping them and planning, and then all the different people that I had met over my lifetime, I was like, oh, well, we need this. Oh, I know somebody that can do this. Oh, I know somebody that can do that. And it just became fun and interesting to me to be able to help people as well. And then when you add the fact that you can make money off of it, that's always a motivation.
I like it. Sorry, go ahead.
I know we keep joking about making money, but Jason, just knowing who you are as a person, I know you really have a heart, on some of the things you do. So talk to us about some of these events you do just from your heart and the things you do in the community.
Well, the biggest thing that I have done is my Breakfast with Santa event, and it's actually coming up next Saturday, December the 17th, at the C. Waldo Scott Center for Hope. Basically, we sponsor inner city kids and families that don't have a lot of money, or parents that just having a hard time at Christmas that just need help. We give them toys and Breakfast with Santa, so we provide an experience. So we started it in 2019 is when I started it, and it's just grown. This is the 4th year. I started with 20 families, and it has grown from 20 families to now I have over 420 kids that are signed up for the event next week. So that's one big thing that we get to do, that I do in the community, that's really, really fun. I just really feel like Christmas is that one day that if you can get something or just do something for somebody to just make them feel great in that moment, that this is something that you should do.
I love that. I love that we can really see your heart. And I will say that Tiffany and I had the pleasure of being at the event you hosted for Halloween, and just to see the look on the kids' faces, and it was just so many kids. And my son was there, and he was excited. And he was like, well, Mommy, can we stay? And he passed out candy. It just warmed my heart. So I'm excited, and I'm so proud of everything that you do.
Thank you. And let me tell you, it is just an honor to meet you guys, and how you guys have taught me so much in this short time and have introduced me to different people. I am so grateful for you guys. It's so crazy. I invited Tiffany. I didn't even know anything about her ever. I just knew that she was the lady's name that I always see on the bottom of my my taxes when it's time to pay. And I was just Commissioner of Revenue, Tiffany. I think it was around election election time or something, or she was about to win. And I just invited her, and she was just so nice. Like, she didn't know me from anywhere. And she was like, okay, sure, I'll come to the event. Didn't know me, didn't say, oh, no, I'm not coming. Like, she was just really, really sweet and nice. And she came, and that was like 2017, I think, when I did Leandria Johnson. And for me to reach out to her like all these years later, and I just set up a meeting. I was like, can I have a meeting? Because I want to come talk to you. And she was like, yeah, well, I'm going to be out of town this week, but let's pick a day here. She said, what day is good for you? And then when I got to meet her, and it was just so nice, like the experience. And my goal to come in to meet her was actually just to get mentorship from her, because I was told she had a mentorship program. And then she spoke when I graduated from Thomas Nelson. She was our keynote speaker. And I was like, this lady is everywhere. Right after I had just had my Leandria Johnson concert, I'm like, now I'm seeing Tiffany. And then to meet you guys, Deshana, you have been excellent. You have taught me so much. You have helped me get some business stuff in order. Like, I'm just so grateful for everything that you guys do, and for you guys to give me the opportunity to work with you with the Emerge brunch and the gala. Like, I'm just so excited and just so grateful. And I feel so blessed to have both of y'all. And I got to give a shout out to Dorothea too. Hey, Dorothea.
Well, thank you, Jason. We certainly appreciate it. If you are just tuning in, you are listening to the Emerge Radio Show. I am your host, Deshana Kemp Garnett, along with co-host Tiffany Boyle. And we are sitting down talking to Jason Smith. And we are just loving on him for all that he does for us and in the community. And Tiffany, I feel like you were going to say something. I feel it in my spirit that you wanted to interject right about now.
I did. And then Jason went on his spiel of, talking so many compliments and nice things that I just lost it, because I was like, oh, that's so nice.
It's the truth.
I know that we are nice and sweet people. No, like, but no, and we feel the same about you. And, just going with your entertainment company, you came in and really helped us tremendously with the Emerge event at the last minute, that last hour, to make it a success. So we are here to provide a testimony of how great J. Smith Entertainment is. And we are also, December is HIV and AIDS Awareness Month. So we are talking about that, trying to show awareness and spread the word for all of our listeners. So I know we did meet and you had your HIV Awareness Month. Yes. So just tell us why you did that. What other things do you do to help promote awareness?
All right. Well, one thing I can say is I do an HIV awareness talent show every year. I used to do an HIV awareness event every year. The reason why I ended up doing HIV awareness events is some of my friends have found out that they were positive. And so, it's very different when it hits home. When you see stuff and you've been like, okay, I'm going to donate, I don't really care. But like when it hits somebody that it hits very, very different. And then like if you don't do your research or know anything about it, you're going to feel like, oh my God, they sneezing, I'm going to get it. Or if somebody, they're going to die tomorrow. And it's really not that. I think I wanted to educate people, because as African-American people, HIV is something we just really don't talk about. Like kind of Black people in the church. HIV and AIDS is not something that we talk about. We just pray to Jesus and go to a therapist or Oprah or something. That's just not something that we basically do. So I just wanted to just promote awareness so people would know like it's not a death disease anymore. And you grown. So if you're gonna have sex, I'm not telling kids to go out here and have sex. But if you're gonna have sex, like the whole goal is to be smart about it. Use protection. You're supposed to treat everybody like they got it, regardless. And that's just how I look at it as an African-American male and having African-American friends. A lot of them don't really talk about HIV and AIDS. It's just something that's just kind of taboo. So I just wanted to teach people in the community, like, it's not a death sentence. And if you're going to have sex, you need to be safe.
Yeah.
I think that sums it up in a nutshell. I think Jason was very clear in what he said.
That is right. Yeah. Let's be safe. So, Jason, tell us how we can follow you, contact you.
You can follow me on Instagram, JSmithENT. Put that in. You'll see my logo come up. You also can reach me on jsmith.entllc.com. That's my website. You can subscribe. Or you can hit me up on Facebook at Jason Assange over Smith. Or you can reach out to Emerge, and I'm pretty sure that Tiffany and Deshana know how to get in contact with me.
Yes, we do. Absolutely, we do. So, Jason, it is my favorite time, and it is our signature question. And that is, what does the word emerge mean to you?
Oh, I like that. Okay, so the word emerge to me when I hear emerge, I think of like coming out. You are surfacing. You're here. The spotlight is on you. It's your time to shine. That's what I get when I hear the word emerge.
That's right. It's your time to shine. And that's how we're going into 2023.
Yes.
We are going into 2023 bold.
Yes.
And that's just all there is to it.
That is right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jason, for sharing with us what you do, a little bit about who you are, and also giving your advice in regards to HIV and AIDS Awareness Month. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Please have me back again soon.
And we look forward to your event on the 17th, the Santa event. Do you want to talk about that real quick again?
Yes. So let me give another plug. So December the 17th at the Seawater Sky Center from 11 to 3, we are having breakfast with Santa. If you did not register, it is okay. You can come at 2:00, and whatever toys we have left over, you will be able to get. You can also contact me, and I can put you down for a time saying that you're coming at 2:00, because we got a lot of great sponsors that have helped us out. Tiffany Boyle and the Commissioner of Revenue is a great sponsor for us in the city of Newport News. We thank you. Philip Jones, Mayor-elect, is one of my sponsors. Of course, my job, Exclusive Medical Staffing. Thank you, Miss Naisha and Mr. Everall. I have a whole lot of other people. McDonald's, J. Smith Enterprises, IHOP. We just got a lot. 37 is in. I just want to thank everybody. So if you guys want to donate still, reach out to me or reach out to Tiffany. You guys can still donate. If you want to bring your kids, come on and bring them 2:00. Give me a call. Let me know what time you guys are coming, and we'll work it out. I just want to make sure that everybody has a good time. But so far, we have 420 kids signed up.
That is amazing. That's right. Help your community.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Emerge yourself.
And what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, NBA forward Kevin Durant from the Oklahoma City Thunder, here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have more energy to do the things you like to do.
And that's a slam dunk.
Whether you like to shoot hoops like me, skateboard, ride a bike,
or dance on your roof,
be a player.
Get up, play, and move it your way.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Emerge yourself.
Hello and happy Wednesday to the Emerge family. It is me, Deshana Kemp Garnett, and it is time for my 2 cents. Can y'all believe that we have made it all the way to December? I mean, at some points I felt like the year was going by extremely fast. Then I felt like it was going by extremely slow. But I'm like, man, we're almost to the middle part of December. Business owners, entrepreneurs, I want to applaud you for everything you've accomplished this year, everything you've learned. We've talked about so much. So what is it that I'm going to share my 2 cents on today? I want to focus on the month of December, right? It is the season, but what is it the season for? Is it the season where we are looking to give or we're looking to receive? As a business owner, as entrepreneurs, we want to receive some sales, right? We want to make some money. We have families to take care of. I get it. But let's think about how we can give in this holiday season. As the end of the year approaches, it's so easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of celebrations and travel and gift giving and all that stuff. But while we are enjoying holiday fun, let's think about what we can do to give back. Let's think about what charities can we support. I know I'm going out shopping for gifts, and there's people out there from the Salvation Army. I think some of my coworkers and I, we just donated. We adopted some angels, and we're giving some kids some really good Christmases. So I'm asking you, what are you going to do in the season of giving? We've had a nonprofit on the show. We know they always need our support, whether it's money, whether we're donating our time, some type of resource. Think about, with the time we have left in December, what is it that we can do to give back? Almost 20% of the contributions made to nonprofits take place in December, and that's according to the Giving Institute. That is something I didn't know. I had no idea that so much contributions to nonprofits took place in the month of December. But if you think about it, people are in the spirit, they're in the giving season. It makes sense. So if you are planning to make any type of donations, which I hope you are, check that the charity you choose qualifies for a tax-exempt status, and make sure you get a documentation of your gift. And this could be something such as a receipt or a bank record. And I pulled this information from consumerreport.org. So if you wanted to learn more about, what you should be looking into as far as nonprofits and giving in December, you can definitely go to consumerreports.org. Just to let y'all know, we have up until December 31st to make contributions and claim them on our taxes. So let's just make sure we're doing that, right? Let's make sure we're doing our contributions to something we verified as a nonprofit. Make sure we're getting some type of documentation. And don't just do it for your business. Do it because it's the right thing to do. If you're like me, it's been an amazing year. Whether we've made a lot of money, a little bit of money, we've met some amazing people. Let's give back and help those organizations that we know really need our help. I am Deshana Kemp Garnett. That's my 2 cents.
Here's what's coming up in Hampton Roads.
Members Networking Breakfast, year-end business and tax strategies to help businesses in 2022 strong. This will take place Thursday, December 15th, 2022 from 9 a.m. to 10 o'clock a.m. This is being hosted at the Black Brand, 520 East Main Street, Suite 4 in Norfolk, Virginia. For additional information or to purchase tickets, visit eventbrite.com. We're calling all small business owners to come out and network every second Tuesday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. or every fourth Thursday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is the free small business owner meetup. This is being presented by Peace and Grind Wellness and Business Center on High Street in Portsmouth, Virginia. For additional information, please visit peaceandgrindwb.com. Let's take a look at some regional and local activities. The Business Connection After Hours presented by Bayport Credit Union, Thursday, December 15, 2022, from 5:30 to 7 o'clock p.m. at Bayport Credit Union, 5028 George Washington Memorial Highway in Yorktown, Virginia. Members are free and non-members are $10. For additional information or to register, visit business.virginiapeninsulachamber.com. A special thank you for the guests on today's show. To listen to today's show or past episodes, visit emergethemagazine.com.
Emerge yourself.